guest on the show today is a gentleman who might be known to a lot of you as Big Chief White Cloud. He was one of the former lead singers of The Indian. He's now out on his own doing it, and that is my very first guest, Stephen Proctor. Stephen, welcome along to the show.
Great to be here, Sean. Thank you.
Nice to see you with, you know, as I said, no makeup on.
Yeah, with normal clothes.
Normal clothes. Yeah. I mean, take us all the way back, because, I mean, like, you had a life and you had an entertainment life even before you were with The Indian. So how did it all evolve for Stephen Proctor?
Well, it all started off with a little band called Stars and Stripes 25 years ago, playing the country clubs. Then been through different bands, you know, couldn't start to mention all the names. Then I downgraded to two-piece, then one-piece, and then
So where did the Indians come into your life?
Well, I heard there was a job going in the Indians, and I contacted Eamon Keane, manager and the boss of the Indians, and we arranged to meet. He wanted to hear me sing a few tunes and whatnot, and I arrived with my keyboard, thinking I was going to become the keyboard player of the Indians. And he says, no, I'm the keyboard player. He says, you're the chief. So it all started from there. I was quite surprised at getting the job, but it was a great experience.
It was. How did you pick the name for your actual stage name? You know, because like every Indian chief, and we've had the Indians here on the show, and they're at the moment celebrating 40 years in the business, which you're actually helping them celebrate. I mean, how did you pick your name that you would be known throughout your time with the Indians?
Well, we thought of a lot of different names, and we asked the fans if they could give us suggestions. But we came up with one idea, which was White Cloud, meaning the white suit. And of course, they were going to let off a couple of pyrotechnics, and that was the cloud. And the white cloud, that's where that came from.
Mm-hmm. I mean, did you enjoy your time with the Indians?
It was fantastic. It was really coming from a small scene, going into the professional scene. And obviously, a big step, you know, fronting the band.
I mean, because they had a name really before even you were with them, didn't they? Because I mean,
massive,
they've actually been going, as we said, 40 years. I mean, you're out on the road doing some of the 40th anniversary shows with them. I mean, it must be very proud when you think of it, that a band that you've been with, you know, are celebrating 40 years on the road.
Oh yes, to be part of that, and it's great also to team up with, you know, the original, like Noel Brady, and then Noel's son Paul Brady, and Kevin Kearney, myself, and Raymond Kelly, who's
the current one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great being on the stage with all these guys together, and as well as the band themselves, just fantastic.
Yeah. So when did you think that it was time for you to step down?
Well, I suffered from diabetes from the age of 11, which led to kidney failure, and I was diagnosed with kidney failure a short time after joining the Indians. So my health and energy had started to decrease during my time with the band. It got to the stage I needed a double transplant, and it was time to part company, which is also good too, because I never actually got a closure on the Indians gig.
Did you feel sad though when you had to sort of like leave that life, or did you think, well, that's part one of my musical life, you know, and I mean, I can always come back to it because I've left the door ajar, now I can move on to something different?
Well, yes, it has left me now. I've been out of the music for many years since parting with the Indians, and I thought the time now was it was a good time now to come back and make some music again. It was a very sad time to have to do my last gig with the guys.
But you're going, you know, as I said, you're going back there, as I said, to do shows with them in the coming months, and that you've done ones over in England with them, where the Indians have huge fan base following as well. So like, you're not really sort of leaving them, you're just sort of like stepping aside, but you're still there in the sort of enclosure if they ever need you.
Well, yes, again, myself and all the ex-chiefs, I'm sure, would be quite happy to stand in if it was needed. But there's a fantastic guy at the minute, Raymond Kelly.
He's a good singer, isn't he?
Oh, just unbelievable, unbelievable.
Now, we move forward. Now, you have done something that you haven't done for a long time. I mean, the last time you were on record was with, sort of like with the Indians and stuff like that. I mean, you've now released your very, very first album, which is the album here, which we have on the show, called Silver Wings. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I started off probably about 2.5, 3 years ago. I recorded a few songs, and kind of put them to one side. Then a couple more, and I've come up with an album, and I let a friend of mine hear the recordings, and from there things just progressed. I was in getting photographs taken, and then before I knew we're duplicating a few, and it's almost the story with it would be, you know, I had a lot of well wishers, and people have been saying to me, "Oh, you want to make some more music as yourself?" So this is my answer to it.
This is you stepping out of the shadows and becoming, you know, yourself again.
It's Stephen. It's Stephen again.
It's Stephen Proctor as Stephen Proctor is.
Not that I ever want to lose the identity of being part of the Indians at one stage, but this is Stephen. Stephen. There's one song I put on this album, and it was put together by a local guy here, Walter Cunningham,
who actually works here on the TV show with us, our artist coordinator. I mean, why did you decide to do one of his songs? Which was the song that, because Walter was a great singer-songwriter, I mean, he's responsible for Don't Wake Me Till We Touch Down in Shannon, which was a huge hit for Robert Mizell. I mean, the song you picked from Walter's catalogue is?
So the track's called Dance Her Off His Mind. Great story behind it, and it's a nice American-style country song.
Is that the style of country that you feel more happy at singing when you're doing it, sort of like the American style, or do you like to vary it between the Irish country and the American country?
My flavour of music would be more the American type of country. There's so much of the Irish country about at the minute, and I felt I wanted to go the other direction, and this is what I've come up with, Sean.
And I mean, like, you've done it. I mean, I was surprised, to say the least, when I heard that you'd done an album, because, like, you know, as you said, nobody had heard anything about you. They'd seen that you were doing the shows with the Indians on their 40th anniversary, but nothing else had happened from Stephen, and you've done the odd spot here and there. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, we're hit with an album, which is great. I mean, it's great for the music fans, it's great for the radio stations, it's great for the DJs as well. Yes,
it's. I can't believe it's actually came to this stage, and things are happening. You know, there's a company wants to take on the full rights of the album, and
well, that's good, isn't it? I mean, that can't be a bad thing in this day and age, when a lot of companies are keeping their money very much in their pockets. They're not giving it away, and they're not wanting to part with it. And for them, somebody to come along and say, "Well, listen, Stephen, we're interested in your album." I mean, it's good for you, because I mean, it puts you back on the map again, doesn't it?
Well, it does. It's fantastic. It really. It's an unbelievable situation to be in at the moment.
I mean, the obvious thing is, like you've done DVDs with the Indians. I mean, are you going to do a DVD for a couple of the tracks from the album to sort of like get them on music television, which is very, you know, as I said, happening over here in Ireland at the moment?
Well, the answer I would have to give you to that is everything has happened so fast with this album. I was asked this question this morning by another guy, and my answer was, I'm just blowing in the wind. We're just going to see where everything takes us. I've honestly no plans. I just want to make music.
And I mean, of course, now that for years you lived in Ireland, but you don't live permanently in Ireland now. You have moved across the water, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm residing in Scotland at the moment. I've been there for a few years since I had my transplant. I had the operation in Scotland, and I'm still in that part of the world.
And you move backwards and forwards, of course, between Scotland and Ireland.
I come back over, yes, and see.
No difference, really, is it?
See the family. It's not very far away, really.
But there's no difference really between Scotland and Ireland, is
there?
No,
with plenty of grass and hills and
plenty of cows, sheep.
Yeah, but the talent and the music is in this country.
And with a big thank you to Stephen for being one of our guests here on the show today. We're going to finish with some music from Stephen in his alter ego as Big Chief White Cloud. This is Stephen and a song that he has actually got on the new album, which is the Child Band. This is Stephen Proctor singing for you, and a track called Silver Wings.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Silver wings shining in the sunlight, glowing engines headed somewhere in flight, taking you away, standing here behind. Silver wings shining in the sunlight, glowing engines headed somewhere in flight, taking you away, leaving me lonely. Silver wings slowly fading out of sight. Don't leave me, I cry. Don't take that airplane ride. You locked me out of your mind, or left me standing here behind. Silver wings shining in the sun.